Now let's talk about the another emulator, that is the Eve NG. It is also the same like the GNS3, but the only difference is that we don't have any kind of application client where we have to install and what do we say, run those application over there. So it directly has the web interface. Within that web interface, we are going to what do we say? We just run the application, install the application. Everything is entirely different when compared to the GNS3. So GNS3 was pretty much straightforward, but not the EVE-NG. Now EVE-NG is also runs on the Ubuntu. On top of this Ubuntu, the EVE-NG will be running. Now the EVE-NG is mostly like a Linux only. So that's why where what happens is like whenever we are installing any files or devices in the EVE-NG, all the nodes will be first a folder will be created. Inside that folder, there will be the images. Right, so that's how the pattern is in the EVE-NG. But in GNS3, you directly have the folder where you have all the images listed in there. That's it. All right, so let's go ahead and check with the EVE-NG now. So for the EVE-NG also, otherwise, so I will go to Google first and type in EVE-NG, and I will click on EVE-NG, and I will go to the downloads option. And in the downloads option, be careful you are not going to install the pro version. Pro version means you have to pay for it. So you have to look for the community editing edition version. Now always download the OVF file. ISO image is also good, but it will take at least 15-20 minutes to install. So this one is pretty straightforward. It will be finished up in 5 minutes. So let me go back to downloads. I think at least I should have this one. So EVNG. Now I don't even have this one. Strange. I should have that one. Okay, so what I will do, I will go ahead and click on this mega mirror image. Usually mega will come up, not the Google. Google will say that a lot of installation has been done. Many people have downloaded. So click on standard download, and this one is almost 2.73 GB. So let it download. So now until then, I will go back to the PC where I am going to run the web GUI of the EVNG. So what I'm going to do is that I will go to the EVNG website once more, and here I will go to the downloads option. Now with the GNS3, if you remember that if I have taken any console CLI, the CLI console will be open in the Solar Putty, which is installed by default by the GNS3 application. But for the EVNG, it's a little bit different. We do have some kind of packages which we have to run. In that packages, again, it will install the VNC, it will install the Wireshark, and it is also going to install the CLI console, also install the Nmap in order to search and look for the devices. So we have to download and install that package. So where we can find that package, if you scroll down, Windows client side package and the Apple's and the Linux. So according to your operating system, you will select. So mine is Windows. So I will go to Windows client side packet and select Windows integration pack. So now it will take me to the download page, and I am going to download it. So click on download, standard download, and this one is only 61.2 MB. That should be quickly downloaded. So once downloaded, we will install this package that will help me to get the what do we say, the CLI console, VNC console for that particular nodes. Now coming back to the downloads, I do have an option for documentation. So in this documentation, this is where you will see how to create images. And using this, following this guide, we are going to install the images. So again, in this one also what I'm going to do, I'm going to install the Cisco ASAV. Now with the ASAV, I already have this kind of images, so we just need to rename it. All right, so I will follow the steps. So before that, you see that my EVNG client packet has been downloaded. So I will double click on that one. That should open the setup now. So click on next, click on next, next, and now it is installing that. First it is installing the nmap. That's click on OK. Click on accept, click on next, 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 and install. So it is installing Ultra VNC. So VNC player it is installing for your Windows machine, Apple OS, or any guest which requires the VNC. So click on next and untick that one, click on finish. Now it is installing the Wireshark. So it says that already Wireshark is installed. So I will say no, because while installing the GNS3 it was already installed. So click on next and I will click on agree, next, 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 and install. So I think it is again installing the Wireshark, which we do not require. I should have cancelled the setup, but anyhow, when you are running the client package, this is what you will say. Yes, uh, this is how it will run the installation. That's fine. So let it install now. Click on next and finish. And now my setup has been finished. So now the only thing which I am waiting for is to download this at 2.73 gigabytes, because it is taking a lot of time. So I will try and find my GNS3, what do we say, EVNG virtual machine. I think I do have that one. I just need to find. If I find, that's okay. Otherwise, it is downloading. It is taking time. All right. So I got that EVNG file over here. You see that EVNG file. So I will just go ahead and pause that one. I don't want that now because I already have that one. So I will, this is how the file looks like. So I will right click on that one and I will click on import using workstation now. All right, so I will say evng and it is going to install on my C folder. That's fine. Click on import and now it is importing. So I will just close up the GNS3 because we already done with that one. So now it is importing that evng. Again, this will also take a little bit time to import. Once that is been imported, then we can go ahead and install the application. That means configure the evng in order to connect. Okay, that was quick. So first thing is that I will click on upgrade. Same thing, click on next. Going to the 17.5, click on next. Alter this virtual image, click on next and finish and close. Now it is using 8 GB, which I do not require. I only required 4 GB. That's fine. Currently the network adapter is connected to the bridge one, so I will use the same one adapter, and I will add one more adapter that should be connected to the NAT one. I will add one more adapter that will be connected to the switch one, the same setup. Now, if by default there is only one hard disk, we need to add one more hard disk to your EVNG. So always add 500 GB of hard disk, not below that one, and click on OK. And now click on power on. View console. So again with this same setup, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to install the ASAV, I'm going to install the IOU L2 and L3 device, and after that I will map those routers to the particular bridge device, then map it to the NAT one and map it to the switch one. So these two are running DHCP, so it will be easy to get those one. And this one is not running DHCP, so when we connect to this switch, we know that there is no DHCP server running. All right, so now once you see that it already got the IP address, so I will log in using ROT root. Password will be EVE, enter. And now it should start up the configuration. So root password, again, I will keep it as EVE, again the same thing, EVENG, and the name will be EVENG, that's fine. I don't have any domain, so I will remove it. And I want to go with static or DHCP, always select DHCP. Static, sometimes it will not configure it. So click on OK, and don't have NTP, click on OK. And I say direct communication, always select direct connection until unless you have the proxy. So click on OK, and after that it should be installed now. Now let's move to the documentation now. So we are going to install three things, that is Cisco ASAV and the IOU L2 and L3. So for that one, first I will go to Cisco ASAV, and the another condition is that I need to take the partition to that EVENG. So let me go to the EVENG now. So it says 192.168.1.48. So I will say 192.168.1.48, and I will say that root and Eve, that should be good. And now I will copy this one, make the directory, and if I go back here, so you can enter the version name, whatever, what version number, whatever it is, but the main thing will be that this name and the dash. So I will say 9.8, enter. Now there is no means of communication where you can upload the files to the EVNG like GNS3. You can just upload it directly, but for the EVNG you need to have a FTP client. So I'm using the FileZilla client, which will be connecting to 192.168.1.48 and GNS3, not GNS3, and it should be root. Password should be Eve, and port number should be 22. So we are going at the back, double click, click on opt, and click on Unit Lab, click on add-ons, click on KMove. This is where you will find your folder. So within that folder now, I will double click that one. The folder should go over there, should be transferred to that folder. So now if I come back here and if I say CD, go to this folder now. Inside that folder, you do have that particular file now. Now we need to rename it to the virtua.qcow. So how do you rename that one? So here it shows the instruction. What it is doing is that first it is creating this one, and after that it is moving that particular image file to the virtua.qcow. So, but basically I am inside the folder itself now. So what I can do that to move, I will copy this name and I will say the new name will be virtua.qcow2. If I say ls, that is been saved now. But this command basically says that if you do a cd, instead of giving this for file path, we don't require it because you are already going to that particular folder. You do not require to give this path. So this command simply means that I want to move this folder within the same folder itself. I want to move this file to this name. So it is simply renaming the name. That's it. So what you're saying is that move this file to the same folder and rename it to this file. That's it. That's what you're saying. So you do not require to give that whole file path. That's fine. Now, most important thing is that you have to copy and paste this command. Otherwise, your device will not be running. Pretty important. Most important. Now, coming to the IOU routers. So you see that Cisco IOL. So here I will first where is the folder? Okay, let's go back to the If I do a refresh, I should see that image back, go back, and now you do have a separate folder for IOU, that is IOL. So double click on that one, select the bin, and now we will select this one, double click on that one, and double click on that one. That's it. So we are just transferring the files to that particular folder. So if I go back here and if I say that cd double dot, I'm back to the kmove. Now if I say cd double dot, and now I am back to the add-ons. And here if I say ls, I do have something called IOL. And if I say cd IOL, I am inside that file. Again, it will have two files folders, that is bin. So I will say cd bin and I will say ls. This is where I have my IOU routers. And now again, if you remember that with the IOU routers, you need to have the license. Without license, you cannot run it. All right, so let's search for the license now. So I will say that Cisco IOU license generator for EVNG. Let me see this one. There should be one with the GitHub one. Yep, this is the best one. So in the GitHub one, okay, where is that code? See that this is the code. So I will copy that code. So now before I copy that code, I will make sure that I will go to the same directory one more time. So I'm inside the directory and now I will copy this code. Now I have to save this code. So I will say vi iou.py. You can give any name. Press enter, press I button first, then paste it, press escape, press colon x exclamatory mark, enter, and if I say cat iu.py, I should see all the folders now. Now next thing is that I do have that folder over here, so I will say python 2. I think 2 should be good, and now you see that you got the license file. So you copy that license file and you will say now viOURC, that's it, because we want to save that license file to this particular file. Whenever the IOU, L3 and L2 folders routers look for the license, they will look for that particular file name. So enter, press I, paste the content, escape, colon, X, exclamatory mark. And if I say that cat IOURC, and I should see the license name. Now finally, most important thing, fix the permissions. Without that one, don't do. That's it. Now I will go back to my PC. I will go back to my this one and I will say 192.168.1.48 and I should have a graphical user interface. Admin evng. CLI should be root and the web GUI should be admin. So be careful with it. Now I will click on add a new lab and I will say this one is for the test one. Click on save. So now do a right click, add a node, or come back here, add an object, add a node, whatever you like, you can use this, utilize these options. So right click, add a node, and I will say that ASAV, and I will give a RAM as 1024, and click on save. And you see that console type is telnet, that's good, click on save. Now I will go to the network. I will select management cloud and cloud one should be only one of them. So I will connect it first and I will start it. Next, I will go to the node and I will select IOL and here I will say R1. I want 256 MB of RAM and I support group. So these are, if you say one means you will have 4 ports in that one. So 4 ports, that should be more than enough. Click on save. So now what I will do is that I will click on management cloud, connect it. So and I will edit this one and I will say that MGMT management. Next, I will right click a network should be cloud one. So cloud one that should be again connected to bridge only, but I am not sure I am doing the testing over here. And this one should be connected to NAT, that is cloud 2. And another one should be connected to switch 1 adapter, that should be cloud 3. So I'm just only confused with the management and cloud 1, so that's why I am not taking any risk. All right, so all good now. So right click and start. Now with the community version, once you started your devices, you cannot connect it while it is being started. So make sure that you make your connection and make your topology first, then you can start it. Now to get the console, you will click on this one and you should show that if it wants to open the party session, click on open the link, and it is asking you, I will use the default one. So now this is what your console CLI. I will go ahead and take that one, then click on open link. Okay, this one is the switch one. Okay, config T. So what I can do, I can close this off and I can shut it down, and I can go to edit and I can change the name to the L3 because I want the router, not the, what do we say, the switch. All right, so my router is starting. That's all good. Let me go to the ASA. ASA V is also starting. So I will just shut down the ASA because we don't require. I'm just added the firewall. That's all. But usually there is no point of having that. Now the only what do we say, the cons of the EVNG is that everything you have to install manually and run it. With the GNS3, we do have a multiple inbuilt features, multiple images which are free, and there are many Docker images which you can use it by default for free. But in EVNG, you don't have such things. So everything should be like you need to have it and you have to install it. All right, so let this one starts. Then after that, I will start off with my, I can select this one and I will push it over here. Now, also with the GNS EVNG, you do not have something called as the NAT one. If I say config T, do show IP interface brief. And now you see that E0/0, I got the IP address of 192.168.1.49. E0/1, I got it from the 150.1.71. Okay, so what I will do is that interface E0/1, no, no IP address, and shut down because I have connected the NAT on the cloud 2 also. So I want to check it. So interface E0/2, IP address will be DHCP and no shut exit. So I just need to confirm something, then I can show you how it has been mapped. All right, so no configured host name, no including host name. All right, fantastic. So that means this will be the switch one. This one is the NAT one. And this one is normally net one. All right, so let's understand what's happening now here. So whenever I said that I am connecting to the cloud management VM, that is been mapped to the ETH0, that is to the NIC 0, which is connected to the bridge one. adapter of my virtual workstation, and that is 192.168.1.0. Now coming to the second one, that is the NAT, which is the cloud one, that is connected to map to the NIC one, which is the NAT adapter of my workstation, and the IP address subnet is 150.1.7.0/24. Now coming to the switch one, that is the cloud 2 mapped to the NIC 2, and that is connected to switch 1 where there is a no DHCP running. So the subnet was 192.168.142.0/24. So now accordingly what I will do is that I will configure those interfaces. So I think I do not require this one now. So what I'm going to do show IP interface brief. So I will say interface E0/0, no IP address will be 192.168.1.15 and if I say do show IP interface brief, IP address has been changed, so do show IP route. That means my route should be removed, so let me remove that route. So no IP route, so I have removed the route, but it is there, right? It is not. Okay, so interface E0/1 IP address will be 150.1.7.10 and no shed interface E0/2 IP address will be 192.168.142.10 and no shed exit do show IP interface brief. Now I have correctly mapped. This is the bridge one, this is the NAT one, and this is the switch one. So let's go back to my physical PC. That should be ping 192.168.1.15. I should be able to ping, and ping 150.1.7.10 I should be able to ping because it is correctly been mapped, and ping 192.168.142.10 that should also be pinging. Yep, it is now pinging. So in the EVNG also you can map your adapters, and accordingly you can configure, create your topologies customly. You can now connect it to the outside network. That means outside your virtual machine, outside your topology. Right, so that's why that is what with the EVNG. So now again with the EVNG the same thing. That is the Ubuntu over here, and top of that there is an EVNG application running, and top of that I am running this particular router R1. So EVNG is helping me to get to these particular, what do we say, web GUI. Using the web GUI, it is making it's easier for me now how I can install my devices, how I make my topology, and how I am connecting to that one. So just realize that if you do not have this kind of graphical user interface, how you are going to run the update when you are going to run the VMs directly on the Ubuntu, then you have to do your networking also by yourself, which will be more complicated. So these people have made us very much easy to understand, and everything now we can configure the topologies. It is very easy to learn. So that was with the KVM technology. I hope this was informative for you, and thank you.